Okay, so after reading Attack on Titan, finishing it, um, I have to say that I'm a little confused because I don't know if it's just my eyes playing tricks on me, but as I'm reading it, like I feel as if there's a certain scene part there where Armin, you know, asks why Aaron wanted to level the world, regardless of whether or not they could have stopped him. And there's a weird scene in there where like it has him as a child and it has his father holding him. He says, "Aaron, you are free," and it's almost as if like maybe because throughout the entire series it was always like it was always hinted like, or no, it was always said like, Aaron's father is the one that brainwashed him into thinking, oh, he's gotta take the whole world out because Eldian and Marlians and whatever and all that stuff. But then right here it looks like, I guess maybe his father's just certain words. It's like saying you're free, and the young mind of a child trapped in subconscious. Maybe it affected him later in some way. I'm not sure, because it's almost like it's almost like trying to almost like say it wasn't really his. It wasn't solely Aaron's decision the entire time. I'm so confused sometimes. Um, I really enjoyed a lot of the characters' endings, like Hanji. I thought her ending was really sad, but then she got to die with the colossal titan, so that was really bad. Fucking Flock gets killed in the neck. That was nice. He came back though, and I was like, what the fuck? Um, the only thing, it's like to some extent, like this is where it gets kind of tricky because this is kind of the same character trope a lot of times, like with main characters that do the wrong things for the supposed right reason. And yeah, it just shows that in the end, like, Aaron believed the only way to, you know, be free was to take the freedom of others. Again, it's a very not very good approach to freedom, but like it's excuse me. It actually follows the, I guess, the typical anime shonen trope of like, have to be the strongest there is, and like, like in the more so like it's almost like a more perverted version, or more a worse version of what Luffy's trying to do. It's like Luffy wants to become the pirate king, to be the strongest one, and not strong one, to be the freest man on the seas, but he doesn't go around killing people to do so. He takes down evil, but like he always puts the betters of others before himself. And yeah, I mean, he Luffy will not, stomp on anyone to get to his goal, of freedom. That's never what Luffy's been about. And that's why, as a character, Luffy is something that you want to look up to. Aaron is the, in a way, sympathetic villain, because unfortunately he finds the answer and follows through with that answer, but it's the answer that is not the right answer. And it's unfortunate because you can tell that he really cares for his friends, but he is just so perverted in his quest for peace, and so lost, that he just now does it without a single thought now. And a whole explanation of like, he's doing it so like, when Armin can take him down, and hopefully that can give a better name to Ildians. That way that, like, people will see them in a better light, like, oh, they sacrificed themselves to take down Aaron, one of their own, for the safety of the world. That way, people will stop treating Eldians like, monsters and, evil people. But the only thing that the only thing that I kind of don't like towards the end, and I'm not sure why the author did this. I don't know why, Because everything leading up to it, it's like, this is like Aaron's like, this is a big thing, and then the only thing. But then again, I guess it's just taking on some realism, I guess. But like at the end, it's like after from again, I've been trying to read this over and over again to see if I can understand this. But like literally, it's like the Eldians, apparently the ones still on the island, they go right back to what they were doing. Fearful again, right here, fearful of retaliation from what is left of humanity on the other side of the sea, the island yells out as one. If we win, we live. If we win, we live. If we lose, we die. If we don't fight, we can't win. Fight, fight. So, and then it says this fight will not end until either Ildia or the world disappears. That is what Aaron said, and he may be right. Even so, he chose to leave this world in our hands, this place we now live in, a world without titans. And I just that kind of it kind of ends off on like a sad note. The fact that after everything Aaron did, they go right back to almost feeling more of like everyone's racism towards him. And the only thing, so okay, there's been a whole bunch of like talks about the writer being Semitic. I can never get that word right. Just again against Jews, because the Eldians are, and as I have kept reading it, it's very clearly Jews. The armbands, everything is a really big thing. So it's a little weird reading that, and kind of like see, again, it's like I'm almost like my brain is now affected by what I've been reading outside of this. Like, and that's why I'm trying to see all this right now, just so I can not get polluted by like other people's opinions, and just reading that. So just try to not remember that it's trying to base off of Nazi Germany and Jews and whatever. But like to a small extent, it's like so. Let me just kind of read it again. Okay, and see, I'm just not reading it again. So even Armin is kind of like, because Annie's, like going, oh well, like it, so. So Armin's pretty much just saying, yeah, conflict will never end. Unfortunately, it is kind of this, okay. Okay, actually, the ending is very realistic in terms of like like even after all this stuff still perpetuates, war, conflict will never end. 3 years after all this happens, there's still these bands of like extremists and whatever. It sucks, but like, oh, excuse me. But yeah, but Armin's pretty much just saying, if we just hopefully tell them our story, you know, that Armin and his group of people are the hope, to finally turn things around. Because I guess they didn't really spread the message out just yet, it looks like. So yeah, it just, I don't know. This is what happens, unfortunately, when there's a group of people, a nation, and there's conflicting opinions within that nation. We have one side that, after years of like, oppression and all that shit. I guess for a good example, it was like, when like Israel, constant struggles between nations that want to, have certain extremist people that rise up from that nation. Then you have people like Armin and his group, where it's just kind of like they don't want any of this. They're constantly being, grouped up with these extremists when they have none of those goals in mind. And unfortunately, that's just how the world is. It's always about, just war, hatred for anything. And so I guess it's like there's a small hope, I guess, at the end of the tunnel. It just kind of sucks though, because like after all of that, something still like that happened, and So I don't know it's such a weird feeling that that's how it ends, you know, after everything Aaron did, after freaking killing billions of people, you know, that just goes right back to that, didn't change a single thing. I mean, they now have a silver lining, I guess. Like they have a trump card, you know, of like showing people that, hey, we're not evil, and like, so yeah, it just sucks though. So I guess it is a very bittersweet ending in every sense in every sense of the word. And Aaron as a character is a flawed, because he's not really a hero. They do in some ways kind of try to make him out to be a hero, you know, because after he dies, then it's, I guess, the Titan. Yeah, after he dies, the I guess the founder also dies because she was, no, the founder, yeah, because when she sees Mikasa and Eren kiss, she sees what true love actually was, and so she finally is able to have closure, and she's able to release herself and be free, and that's why all the Titans then are gone. And it just sucks though, because like I was watching a Tick Tick Boom today, and there's a line in a song that goes, why does it take these atrocities to bring peace? Why does it take these atrocities to have people understand? It's just, and unfortunately, certain things need to happen in order to get people's attention. It's unfortunate, but no one will listen to you unless they are threatened, because we are so comfortable in our own lives that we will not want to change, because people don't like change. Change is hard. Change needs to happen. And unless drastic things happen to people, then, you know, they will find no reason to change. Unfortunately, in this story, literally the only thing they now have is just being able to prove a simple common thing, is that, hey, we're not bad people. We're not. And, but it took, what, almost half the population of the world to be just brutally slaughtered for no innocence, just killed, just to have a conversation about how a certain race isn't evil. Because years upon years of just constant discourse about Ildians, in this world, and the Marlians, brainwashing children, brainwashing their own culture to hate Ildians. So yeah, I still don't think the writer is Semitic or whatever. There is a strong sense of pride in, because whenever you bring in races and everything like that, you touch upon very, very thin veins that are easily broken, and sometimes you say certain things that need to be said, sometimes you say something that maybe you shouldn't be saying. Again, all it takes is a clever mind to know what to say and when to say it when it comes to personal issues, because your goal in life is never to hurt others, but sometimes people need to be told the truth, and it hurts. But that, again, it takes brilliant minds to handle truth, and unfortunately, though, lots of truth are being put into people's hands that don't deserve to be telling the truth. I am getting too philosophical now in this, but it's like I just feel like again, with knowledge being so readily available to everyone, it's like so many people believe, they have the right, or they believe they have the necessary skills to speak truth, or just, know the truth and say whatever they want about it. And to some extent, like, again, it's freedom of speech. So it's oh god. Okay, now I'm just going on a rant because it's my phone and I can do whatever I want. But like, it's like there's such a there has to be order. Freedom produces chaos, because freedom given to humans only creates chaos. No, I know that sounds very like imperialist or whatever. It's like freedom is important, and it's the right of every human being on this planet is to live how they want to live. It's just, unfortunately, though, a lot of people use that freedom to hurt others or to better themselves with their own selfish desire, because we are all selfish human beings. And sometimes people in power, you know, unfortunately, like, you would wish people in power or of big influence, would be able to help guide people that have this freedom, you know, instead of just controlling them. Because then when you take away people's freedom, it's just the complete opposite, and you fester evil emotions and evil thoughts. There really is no easy way around about this. It just, sometimes time just needs a big slap in the face for everyone to just stop and listen. I mean, I guess when you think about this, like, in terms of like COVID, it's like nothing will be changed and no one will listen until something drastic happens. Where I'm on, like, 2022, and I'm still I'm still betting that the COVID variant is going to combine with something else difficult, and it's going to make everything worse. I don't know. All I know is that, like, it's just, freedom is a special thing, and everyone deserves it, but not everyone wields it right. Again, the most powerful phrase in written literature, I'm just saying that right now, because is that Spider-Man quote. It's a simple thing that everyone in layman's term can understand. With great power comes great responsibility. That is as simple as it can be, and freedom is the greatest responsibility that can be given to any human being. And it's just, we need to learn how to use it. And unfortunately, though, for Aaron, his answer to how to get freedom is just take it from others. I will take your freedom before you can take mine. And that is his whole philosophy in this entire, well, I mean, I guess half of the series. And I guess, okay, look, you can call him a flawed hero. He's very flawed. His philosophies, his beliefs are very flawed. But in the end, his goal was to protect his family. Because he loves his family. He loves them so much that he was willing to risk the world for them. And I can honestly believe a lot of us, and even myself sometimes, we've had those thoughts, like, fuck the world. If it means saving my mom, means saving my friends, fuck the world. Seriously. Because we don't know the world. The world isn't part of my life. I mean, it's part of my life, but it's not personally a part of my life. People that I meet on the streets, like, I don't know them, but they have whole lives, and they don't know me. So to them, I'm a stranger, and they said fuck, and they would say fuck me if it came to saving anyone that they knew. It's just, God. So, okay, I do like this ending a lot because it made me think about all this. And again, yes, the writer, again, haven't looked that much into his personal life. It's, will I do that? I don't know. But I just know that there are some very biased certain things said in stories. And again, when it's a writer, they're going to have biased opinions about certain things. I still don't believe that it's specifically targeted at Jews. There is imperialism, and again, what does imperialism mean again? Just so I know imperialism definition. Yeah, a policy of extending a country's power and influence through diplomacy or military force. Yeah, meaning like to force your will upon others. And so, to a small extent, making Aaron a sympathetic hero is very borderline on that, that almost imperialistic kind of like agenda, I guess, because kind of like he's saying, oh, well, he did this all for friends, so, half of the world gone, so it's fine just because I don't know. It takes a smarter brain than mine to understand this, but I still think, though, as an ending for what was an amazing series, in my opinion, it was a very beautiful ending. It was thought-provoking. I think this series, from the get-go, had a really good idea set in place, had a lot of twists and turns, and the twists and turns were actually satisfying to, come to fruition at the very end. Like that whole twist in season 4, all this stuff going on, the reveal of season 3. I'm talking about the anime, even though I just read the manga. But like, all those reveals changed everything, but it didn't just completely do a whole different story, It still kept elements of what we were previously taught, and it organically built into a much grander story. And that is what a lot of writers strive towards, because if you can twist everyone's expectations at the end, but still keep that original idea or that original, like what you were going for in the first, like you don't alienate your audience, even if you change a lot of what everyone thought was going to be it. But so, yeah, it's a beautiful story. Definitely disgusting and very, very, edgy about points. But it was smart. It had a lot of things to say. And look, whatever the personal beliefs of the writer are, again, that's whatever. Right now, I don't care too much. I don't care enough about it to really want to affect how I think of the story, though, because the story as itself, all I can see is the first thing I thought of when I first saw it is racism. Again, it's just reiterating the common thing of racism is bad. Don't be a racist, because I loved how this grand thing of like, apocalypse, titans, and cannibal, whatever, all came because of racism and treating other races like trash and treating others like monsters, and they would end up becoming a monster. So yeah, it's just racism is bad, and taking freedom from others is bad as well, which happens when there are racists around. I don't know what I'm saying. I just know that it had a good message, and it brought up good points of, love being taken advantage of from others. Again, slaves and slavery. Again, it's all about freedom. The Attack Titan will fight to the death for freedom. So in a certain way, I guess, like Eren also, to a certain extent, was not always acting on his own accord, because, the Attack Titan power, always fights for freedom. So maybe that's why he has such a grandiose about he needs freedom. But he still had that ingrained in him before the attack formula. So again, it's just all up to interpretation, I guess. Well, I guess not. I don't know. But yeah, a beautiful story. Beautiful story. Great, amazing characters. Very sad ending. Again, an ending that I expect. Like, I knew everyone was gonna die. Like, because someone that set in their beliefs could never be swayed. They would have to be killed. Because we all know we don't want the whole world to die in this story. So like, you would have to kill Eren. There's no other way. But having him go the way he did, and again, it just, poor soul. He unfortunately just went down the wrong path. And again, what he did gave a small bit of hope for, the success, the preservation of his race, and for others to see the race as nothing, like, as one of them, as people, What he did, all it took was the destruction of the world. Again, it's just so, like, again, you can't condone what he did, but you can't also, say what he did wasn't right, because, again, you never know. Who knows, maybe without all this violence, they could have found another way to prove to others that they weren't evil. Who knows, man? Who knows? And again, even in parts of the chapter, like in coming up, they were talking, like, there's a scene where the whole group, when they're trying to take over like a plane, and there's a bunch of like, old allies from their group, all Jaegerists now, Nazis pretty much. Pretty much, they were like, we don't want to kill them. Like, can we just try to avoid conflict? And to a certain extent, like, this is the author kind of just trying to prove that even sometimes when we try to avoid conflict or avoid death, sometimes there is no other option, because people will not listen because we're selfish. Human nature is selfish. There is no good in us. We find the good in our lives. When we develop relationships, we develop, healthy relationships. Like, the goodness is because we by ourselves, we are not good. We are only good when we are together. because humanity by itself is selfish. Again, selfish is for me and me alone. It's when we we create relationships and we create family. That's where we find a reason to be good. Because then you start living for others, and that's what. I guess so Aaron is good. I guess because he did all this for family. I don't know, man. It's just complicated with all this kind of stuff, but it was good. Satisfying ending. Again, see, I'm glad I'm just talking to myself now because I was able to convince myself that actually was a good ending because I just started thinking about it more. I'm like, okay, no, that actually. At first I was like, I don't like, but then just allowing myself to think how I want to think instead of allowing other people's agendas talking to, interrupt my thought process. Like, I'm able to think about how I want to think about this, and in my opinion, I believe it was a good ending, and it was a strong ending, an ending that made me think about stuff. So yeah, that is my thoughts on Attack on Titan. I cannot believe that I literally just spent the afternoon reading this because I couldn't stop thinking about this and I couldn't wait for the anime to finish, so I just ended up watching it all by myself. So yeah, I mean, I read it all by myself. I couldn't wait for it to be done with the anime. Because I was thinking, like, yeah, we had a couple more weeks of this, and I can't, that'd been crazy, but yeah. A really amazing story. From beginning to the end. I remember when I first watched it with my friend Justin, and he introduced it to me in episode 5 when Eren is eaten. I was like, what the fuck's going on? And everything happening till then, it just very good. Just again, good storytelling. This is good storytelling that I love. Got a little bit of good talks in it about real life issues. Again, whenever people compare actual and purely, it's hard because and people I don't know. I don't want to end on a bad note. I'm talking too long. Yeah, this is just a good story altogether. One of the best. Again, I say this because I don't read a lot of manga, even though I want to. But one of the best mangas I've read in a while. Good anime, all around amazing show. So good work on you, the author. I forgot your name, guy, but good job. Thank you for giving us this amazing source of fiction. All right, so I'm done. 27 minutes. Hell yeah, that was a long ass talk. I'm gonna post this on something so I can save it because I don't want it on my phone. So yeah, I'll just I'm gonna post it on YouTube, and everyone will just see it and not watch it because I am not popular at all. So yeah, thank you for listening to me, Steven, or whatever. Okay, I'm done. 27 minutes just talking to myself. Okay, I'm done. Attack on Titan's good. Go watch it. Bye.